Selling beats online is one of the harder things I've had to figure out how to do. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about my best advice on how to sell beats online. And specifically, we're going to talk about how to market your beats, where to sell beats, so that hopefully today you guys can learn a ton of stuff about beat selling online and how to make money as a music producer. For the first time today, we do not have a Fruity Loop file to run through. We're not talking about a beat. I made a slideshow and I hope it's helpful because it took me a hell of a lot longer than a beat usually takes me to make. If you guys want this slideshow, leave your email in the description and I'll send it to you. There's no catch. I want you guys to learn how to sell beats and I'm giving away all my best tips on it. So if you guys think it'd be helpful to have this slideshow that I'm gonna run through, just drop your email and I'll send it over. Before I get into my actual tips and my advice on selling beats, I gotta touch on one thing, which is don't rush the process. I know personally, I was really excited to get my first sale and start selling beats, and I kind of wanted to rush things. So I think the most important thing is to have confidence in what you're doing. If you're confident that your stuff's as good as your competition's, then go for it. Confidence in your craft is definitely key. And I would say if you're putting out stuff that you're not 100% happy with, it's great to put it out and like test the waters, but I wouldn't spend the time or energy to try to sell it just yet, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Is that selling is time and energy. It's really a grind, and I want to talk about all the things that I do to make a living selling beats, so that if you guys are willing to invest the time and you really are serious about this, you guys can start implementing some of that stuff to hopefully help you sell your beats online. I would have at least 20 or 30 beats online. 50 is probably better. You'll find if you only have a handful of beats, like 5 to 10, a lot of people might give you good feedback. They might say like, yeah, I like this stuff, but there's really nothing for me. There's not anything for me. You have anything else? I know personally, when I got my first 5 beats up, I spent hours, I spent a whole week wanting to send artist links and direct traffic to my website, and I just kept getting the same response, which was, I like this stuff, but there's really not anything for me. Do you have anything else? Definitely make sure that you have the inventory. Next, I would definitely advise to have some sort of outlet to automate the checkout process. I personally use BeatStars. I've never tried Airbit or TrackTrain or anything like that, so I can't definitively say that one's better than the other, but having an outlet to automate that checkout process and having an outlet as a widget to let people go on your website and check out your beats, it's gonna save you so much time. Rather than having to send people beat packs, rather than having to tell them your PayPal or your Cash App, get sent the money, go home to your computer, get all the files, send them to them, it's gonna take care of all that for you. It's really important to have consistent branding across networks. What I mean really is having a consistent logo, a consistent message. Usually it helps to have some sort of consistent color schemes too. It'll just help you give a lot more professional look. And then the last thing is be ready and willing to invest the time. Like I said, there's not a shortcut. I don't have a magic answer. I have a long list of stuff I'm gonna run through that I do on a weekly basis, on a daily or monthly basis, some things that have helped me sell beats over the years and helped me become fairly successful doing this. Okay, a couple quick do's and don'ts, because this stuff all directly ties into your ability to sell beats. One, what you should do is put a face or an identity behind your brand to differentiate yourself. You don't necessarily have to have a picture of yourself, but at least have a logo or something that identifies you as a producer. If you have a random picture of a cartoon or a professional athlete, it's not gonna help people understand that you're a music producer. Definitely do something to identify yourself as a producer. It can be a picture of yourself in the studio. It can be a picture of yourself with your family. It really doesn't matter. Put a face behind your brand, put a logo, put some sort of identity behind your brand that's unique to you. The next thing that I would recommend doing is share ideas and thoughts on your craft on a consistent basis. So that ties right in with the next bullet point of associate yourself as a music producer on all your profiles immediately. It doesn't matter if you have beats available for sale. I really don't care if you started making beats last week. Put music producer in your bio, start tweeting stuff about a producer. You don't want to just talk nonsense and act like you know stuff that you don't. Just tweet that you're making beats. Tweet something you like about making beats. Tweet something that crossed your mind when you made a beat. The point is that the sooner that people see your name on their feed and associate that with beat maker, music producer, the better. It's going to force brand identity, and it's a lot better than waiting until you have a perfect website and a catalog of 50 beats to announce to the world, hey, I'm a music producer. Okay, so this next slide says, why would you do what everybody else is doing when you can make your own lane. And we got a little picture of Rick Rubin in the corner because he just seems like the sort of guy to me that just does his own thing and he really doesn't care. Like, he's figured out stuff on his own and the man just walks his own path. That's kind of how I feel looking at him. So one thing I hear a lot of people say is that the beat market's oversaturated, and you're right, it is. So do things differently. Don't feel like you need to have a certain platform to sell beats. You don't need a BeatStars. You don't have to have a YouTube or a SoundCloud. There's other ways to drive traffic to your website. The point is, think about things that nobody's doing. Don't just follow the herd. Like, YouTube is oversaturated for a reason. A lot of producers make a lot of money on YouTube, and therefore everybody that starts making beats think they need to make type beats on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, I used to do it, but I figured out that I wasn't ranking for what I wanted to in between making the videos and scheduling uploads and keyword research. It really just wasn't worth my time anymore. So I'll talk about some stuff that I've transitioned to that's better, but the point is, think about doing different things. Even some stuff I don't touch on in this video, I really hope it encourages you guys to go and find new outlets that people aren't using yet. And hopefully let me know if you figure out some good stuff, because I'm giving you all these keys today. So if you figure out some good stuff, drop me an email. So regardless of what platform you choose, the key is really selling yourself and building a brand. I really used to be under the assumption that when I got to a certain points and my beats were where I wanted them to be and they were just fire and better than the competitions, that they would sell themselves. And it's so far from the case, it's crazy. Really, you could think that your beats aren't half as good as mine. I could think that my beats aren't half as good as that guy's. But the person that builds a brand and the person that networks and makes connections with people, they're gonna sell the beats. The person that has their beats in the right place to be viewed, to be bought, that people are looking to purchase them, is gonna sell the beats. It doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter how average they are if they're good enough to a point. It's all about the effort in selling the beats. Okay, so on the topic of using platforms and applications to drive web traffic that not a lot of people are using is RapChat. RapChat is an app that allows producers to upload beats, and it allows artists to record songs to the beats using their iPhone or their Google phone or Android or whatever they might be using. The point is that it's a great outlet to upload your beats. I still continue to upload beats weekly to this day to RapChat. It's super easy compared to YouTube where you have to make an MP4 video. For RapChat, all you need is an image and a beat. To this day, I still generate a pretty good amount of leads and sales on RapChat. And if you look at the last bullet point in this slide, rapchat.me, you can go on their website, create a producer profile, upload your beats, put your profile picture up, stuff like that. You can create a producer profile that not only has all your beats, but a quick bio, a link to your website. They have DMs just like Twitter, Instagram. So if you put up a fair amount of beats, you'll definitely have people hitting you up in your DMs asking if they can get a lease on the beat or if they can buy the beat. So like I said, it's a lot less competitive than mediums like YouTube, and it's generated me a pretty good amount of sales. So I definitely advise that you guys check that out. Okay, here is how I make the vast majority of my beat sales, is by manual selling, guerrilla marketing, whatever you want to call it. It's very hands-on and it's really time consuming, to be honest with you. So it's really not a surprise to me that I'm able to get the majority of my sales this way, because I don't think a lot of people are willing to put in the amount of time it takes to do this. But it's definitely effective if you are willing to invest that time to get beat sales. You can use an application like Twitter, SoundCloud, Instagram, RapChat, whatever you want, whatever your favorite social media is, or honestly, you could experiment a little bit with all of them and see where you get the best engagement and the most web traffic from, and kind of focus on that one, which is kind of what I've done over the years. Really, it all starts with taking the time to research. Find people that might be interested in buying beats, or find producers that you might be interested in collabing with or working with, anybody that's in your niche that you want to work with. I do this a lot by just searching keywords on Instagram and Twitter, such as upcoming rapper, unsigned artist, stuff like that. You could also go to profiles of competitors or peers, like somebody like Cash Money AP, look at their followers, follow rappers that follow them. It doesn't mean that people are buying beats from them just because they follow them, but there's a pretty decent chance. Really, it's something that takes time and you'll continue to get better and better at as you do more of it. I'm really looking for people that have a fairly professional look. They don't need to have 2,000 followers. They don't even need to have 500 followers. That's the last thing I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is everything that I've been talking about, such as their branding. Do they have a professional look to them? Do they have a link to their music like readily available in their bio? Do they have something in their biography stating that they are a rapper and artist? The answer should be yes, because that should have been why you initially followed them. So if they're checking all those boxes for me, I'm probably going to check out their music. And honestly, I do lean towards people who have iTunes or Spotify links compared to like a SoundCloud link. I could be wrong, but I just have a feel that those people are probably more willing to spend money and more willing to lease beats. I think that a lot of people that put music on SoundCloud and YouTube are more apt to use free beats. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just think that people that put out music on those paid platforms for profit, like iTunes and Spotify, most of them will expect to pay for beats. So what I'll do then is take the time once an artist checks all those boxes, and I'll check out their music. If I like their music, I'll reach out to them and let them know. That's hands down the most important thing, is reaching out with genuine and sincere comments. You see people all day who spam links, go check out my beats, or send bullshit, yo, your music's fire, and something that people can see right through. It means nothing, and honestly, it's super counterproductive because people are immediately writing you off. They don't think you're sincere, and they just think you're spamming them, and they don't appreciate it at all. So reach out with those genuine comments and let them know. The more specific you can get about it, the more they're going to take it to heart. If you can let them know, like, I love the hook on that one song you did, I love the verse you had on this song, you know, I really like the word plays or the melodies you did on this song. And then the follow-up to that I'm sending immediately after I send that initial message is a second message suggesting my music. I'm saying something like, I'd love to see if you hear yourself on any of my beats, or better yet, if you think you have some beats specifically that they might be interested in, that's even better. That way they don't have to waste the time to filter through all of your beats to find something they might be interested in. I'd love to see if you hear yourself on this. I think you'd kill this, whatever, just something genuine, sincere, not robotic sounding. It's that whole thing that when you give people praise or you give people feedback or something nice, they feel inclined to go and check it out. Don't get me wrong, you'll deal with a lot of people who just say thanks. You'll deal with a lot of people who don't respond. You'll deal with a lot of people that say, okay. But on the other side, you'll get a lot of people who really appreciate it and they go check out your music, and you'll get a fair amount of people who end up becoming customers. Really, you just got to understand that this is a numbers game. If you message 3 to 5 people a day, you might get a sale, but probably not. I message a lot of people a day, and don't get me wrong, I don't do it every single day, but I'm checking out a fair amount of people a day. Put in as much work as you want to, reach out to as many people as you're willing to, but more than anything, keep it sincere and keep it genuine, and don't bullshit people, because they'll see right through it and it's really counterproductive for you. Okay, we got to talk about placements, because I get asked a lot how to get placements, and here's the answer. I have no idea, because I don't have placements. What I can say is it doesn't hurt to try, but I would definitely avoid the big emails. Like if Lil Yachty drops his email and says send beats, I'm not even sending beats, because I know that it's getting spammed. What I would recommend you could do, and how I've gotten any placements, I say placements because to me they're not major placements, but I guess technically they are placements. Reaching out via a DM or adding somebody, tweeting at them, and just letting them know, like, you want to send beats, can I get your email? There's even better ways to get them to engage with that, which we'll touch on real shortly. But I think it's a lot better than just sending emails. When a big artist or somebody pretty major puts out an email, it's going to get flooded. I would rather reach out to that person directly, so that their email might not be as flooded that day, and they know, at least they have some sort of idea that I'm gonna send beats. Regardless if you're sending beats to that major artist like Yachty who put out his email, or if you tweeted it, Travis Scott, and somehow he sent you a DM and gave you his email, do your homework. It might be obvious to you what kind of beats Yachty or Travis wants, but if it's another artist and you want to send them beats, but you're not super familiar with their sound or what kind of beats they want, do your homework. Don't send them a bunch of random beats. Don't send them a bunch of trap beats. Do your homework and see what they like. Send them what might be best for their style. It's going to give you a lot of credibility. It's going to go a long way in them considering you and being willing to accept beats from you in the future too. Giving them some sort of real-time audio preview is a huge benefit to you. So what I mean by that is, rather than just tweeting at Travis Scott and saying, yo, let me send beats, let me get your email, I got beats for you, why not attach a 30-second snippet of a beat and tweet that at him? If by chance he sees your tweet and clicks on that and listens to it, he's 50 times more inclined to give you his email. I don't care how many followers you have or whatever's going on for you. He's way more inclined, if he sees something and hears something that he likes, to give you his email and take the time to respond. So like I said, I think audio previews are a great way to catch attention of hard to reach people. Recently on Twitter, I've been putting up melody videos or some beat videos and just saying like, who do you guys hear on this? Tag an artist or a producer you hear on that. And as a result of one of the melody videos, I've had a couple major Grammy award winning producers hit my DMs and ask me to send them melodies, which I never expected, but there was a 0% chance if I just at those producers and said, let me send some melodies, I got fire. They're not responding. They responded because they were able to click play in real time on Twitter and hear that it was something that they were interested in, and they took the time to send me a message to send them melodies. So give people something to listen to, give them something to preview, and it can go a long way. So when you're talking about how to make money as a producer, there's a lot of different ways, and one of the most common ways that I see people doing that I've recently started doing is selling kits and other products. So the thing that you really have to understand about these is it takes a lot of brand recognition, and it takes a lot of time to build to the point to be able to sell these where it's worth your time investing to make these. I'm not saying that you have to have 10,000 followers or 1,000 YouTube subscribers or anything like that to make a kit. I'm just saying that you better be willing to put some sort of demos or something behind it. Don't just blindly put out your stuff. If you look at some of the best people in the game to do it, who are moving the most kits, they're constantly putting out demos, using their kits in cook-up videos and stuff like that so that people can see it real time. So you don't have to make YouTube tutorial videos using your stuff, but I would say at least give people something to preview. If you're selling a drum kit and you're trying to sell somebody on it, at least let them know, hey, here are all the beats I used using exclusively sounds from my new drum kit. If they're really fire beats with great drum samples, maybe somebody will go buy them. You gave them something to check out. Or if it's a bunch of melody loops, why don't you throw those melody loops on something like SoundCloud? Make sure they're tagged throughout, throw some delays on the tag so people can't rip them, but you have to give people stuff to preview. You can't just make beats for a couple months or even a couple years and just randomly put up a melody kit or a drum kit or a loop kit and expect people to go buy it. Why are they gonna buy it? Why do they trust you? And why are they gonna buy from you? So definitely building brand recognition and credibility is a big thing. But even if you aren't at that point yet, putting up good quality previews for people to check out will go a long way in boosting your potential to sell those sort of things. Just don't put them out blindly and expect stuff to happen. Slightly going off the topic of selling beats online, but a really important thing is showing face, and I think it's important enough to talk about even if it doesn't directly relate on how to sell beats online. I really thought that I could do everything from my basement as an at-home producer for a long time, and you definitely can make good money doing that, but you're not going to build nearly the brand that you could if you're willing to get out and meet people and shake hands and show your face. So if you have studios in your town, specifically ones that record hip hop, but even if they don't, just to get in the door, go for it. There's no reason you shouldn't try to reach out. And do more than just send an email to the studio default email. Reach out to all the employees on Twitter, show up to their door and introduce yourself. Do whatever it takes to get in the door. You're not gonna get there by just sending one email and hoping it goes through. When you show your face and shake hands and you're there in person, people are not only more inclined to use your beats, they're also more inclined to give you favorable terms on records because they have a face behind it. They know who you are. They probably like you as a person, and they're not gonna screw you over as compared to somebody who sent beats from across the country who never followed up. Last thing I want to talk about is surround yourself with people who make you better all the time. Find people who have different skill sets than you, who can help you elevate your game in general. Don't ever discount somebody because they're not as musically inclined as you, or they're not where you're at with making beats or mixing or engineering or something like that. You never know what somebody could bring to the table. Not only don't overlook people who might have other skill sets, if you have other skill sets and you're new to producing music, let people know. I'm good with Photoshop, I'm nice with Adobe Illustrator, I'm really good with search engine optimization. Whatever your strong suit is, make sure you bring it to the table if it's relevant for people. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's really a long grind. You got to be willing to put in the time and effort to sell beats online and make a living online as a music producer, but it's absolutely possible. I would say that I've been trying to seriously sell beats for about 2 years online now, and 6 months ago I was able to quit my job. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. I only started making beats 4 years ago. I only started trying to sell beats about 2 years ago. So it's just been a long grind, and never ever underestimate the amount of hours it takes. If you guys are interested in more in-depth, like the exact tools I use for social media and blah, 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 and you want one-on-one sessions, it's definitely something I'm open to. So let me know or reach out to me directly and we can talk about that. And once again, if you're interested in this slideshow and you think it'd be helpful to you, just drop your email in the comments and I'll send it over to you. So thank you guys very much for watching, and peace.